Hi guys, it's Mrs. D. I wanted to do a video of me reviewing the poem Dover Beach, which we read in Fahrenheit 451. In this scene, one of my favorite scenes, Mildred tries to pass off Montag reading as like oh, firemen do this to prove to you how silly and useless books are. It's a gas. Just listen to how little sense it all makes. And she's really hoping her friends buy it. And it seemed like they are buying that as a reason. And then when Montag reads the poem, at the end of it, one of her friends bursts into tears. And when they say, what's wrong, she goes, I don't know. And the thing that she's referring to is this unbearable indescribability of being touched by poetry. You can have the same reaction to prose, like when you first read something and like the hairs on your arms stand up and you realize that it's talking so specifically to you, and something you're going through, that you understand it. That sort of thing it's wonderful. But for them, it's terrifying. They've never experienced something like this before. They have no idea such a thing exists. And it frankly overwhelms them with feelings when they're in a society that encourages, at all costs, the numbing of feelings. People don't want to feel. They don't feel. They're just distracted. They're entertained. Apologies. In this society, people are just in a constant state of seeking entertainment. They're not really challenged by that entertainment. Think about it, like how many shows do you like? Like that. You like it, but you don't love it. It's not something that you could watch every single solitary day. The same thing over and over again till you know every word, because every single word's important. I hope all of you get that feeling at some point about something. That the feeling that you have for it is not mild or dismissive, but that it's extraordinarily attached. But first we read Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. The sea is calm tonight. The tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits, and on the French coast the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand, glimmering and vast, out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet is the night air, only from the long line of spray, where the sea meets the moon-blanched land. Listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves drew back and fling at their return up the high strand, begin and cease and then again begin, with tremulous cadence slow and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Sophocles, long ago, heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We also find in the sound thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The sea of faith was once too at the full and round earth's shore, lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled, and now I only hear its melancholy long, withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world. Ah, love, let us be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love nor light nor certitude nor peace nor help for pain. And we are here, as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. Now, a poem was not a traditional rhyme scheme. It's based in a specific landscape, so if you didn't know Dover Beach, you wouldn't, necessarily know that it refers to a real place. But it's a place on the English Channel. It's fairly pretty. Like I think about it like Brighton or Coney Island's probably not as picturesque. Coney Island's probably a little bit more of like a theme park in comparison. But it's facing France. So the English Channel is a body of water between England and France. It's not terribly big. It's not like an ocean, but it's pretty big. And a lot of times there's references to this in different literature because the English and the French are sort of staring at one another across the sea. There's an awful lot of battles that have taken place on the English Channel. There's an awful lot of major historical moments that are sort of written around this type of thing. Now, he starts with the phrasing, "The sea is calm tonight." And he ends with the sentence, because it's a long sentence. "For the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night." So you have this battle sensibility at the end, and you started in the calm. And as you started in the calm, it unravels. The more you look at the beach at night, the more you look at the beach line, the more you kind of see the tumultuousness of like the shoreline and the clashing of it. You guys have the sort of unique sensibility that you actually grew up by beaches. There's a lot of people who never see one. But you understand that like when you stand on the shoreline, it's jagged, it's rocky. It is kind of aggressive because the tides give and pull, and when they do that, they literally like tear at the landscape. And especially because England's an island, anything that sort of acts as a port has acted as a battlescape. And you can get battle from the sense of a beach. There's a lot of beautiful imagery in here. The French coast, the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand, glimmering and vast, out in the tranquil bay. Sweet is the night air, where the moon meets the where the sea meets the moon-blanched land. It's a beautiful thing, like looking out of a window at night on how the beach looks, like really when it's a calm, peaceful, beautiful night. But as you sit there, as that last verse says, the eternal note of sadness begins to climb in, right? Like the longer you sit and look at the beach, the more melancholy it gets. If you haven't, I recommend it, going to the beach at night, especially when you're upset, and just putting your headphones in and watching the water. You live locally, and I have no idea why you haven't done that if you haven't, but you should. It's this precise action that is the sort of impetus of the poem. Looking out in the darkness at something beautiful that's dangerous, that's a natural, like there's a natural pull to the ocean. It's in movement all the time, and that movement's either building or destroying. And you're sort of looking at it at night, and it goes from just something you're looking at to really pulling at the innermost thoughts that you have. And a lot of times it's a very melancholy thing. Why does this poem make Mildred's friend cry? Because it talks about like the emptiness and the violence and all the things inside of you echoed back at you from the water. That essentially the beach is a giant echo chamber. Whatever you have inside of you is reflected back from the water. And she doesn't even know what's inside of her. But she hears someone saying, like, I look out on this peaceful landscape, and then the sadness starts to climb in. And it's the truest thing she's ever heard. Because that's why their society can't settle. That's why their society can't be still, can't be calm, can't appreciate anything. That's why all their entertainment is so fast, so high-paced, so in your face, so loud. Because they can't allow you to have a moment where you go, my life is kind of miserable and I hate it. If you get to sit and think enough, you really get to sit and think about yourself and your own role in different things. So there's something kind of important about the fact that one of the friends bursts out in tears and the other one is, angry that such a thing happened. How dare you make me feel? Because I don't feel good. How dare you make me feel not good? It's not really Montag's fault that they feel that way. It's a poem. Poems are magnificent in that there's a million of them of all different shapes and sizes. Now, transitioning. You guys, I got this poem off of Poetry Foundation, and Poetry Foundation is a wonderful resource. There's endless varieties of things on here. So I am going to task you with finding a poem. find one. If you really are kind of trying to kill time because you want to avoid doing something else, just kind of peruse the poems for a while. There's different times and different things that inspire poems. Sometimes you can look for keywords, sometimes you can look through authors. For your consideration, I will pose a few authors. I will pose a few poems that I really like in hopes that you maybe like them. But my sense of taste for it might not be your sense of taste for it. I tend to like older things. I like old crispy poems they remind me of like old libraries, stale, smelly books in the corners that no one else wanted to read. But I will link you to a few nonetheless. You are welcome to find any poem that moves you. And a brief reminder that you will get extra credit for marking period 2 if you memorize a poem and present it to me. You have to present it to me. And if you are at home and you're a fully virtual student, you must present it blindfolded because I can't trust that you're not reading it. Which is a shame because I'm going to have to blindfold myself to perform my poems for you guys, and that's just not fun. But I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you are enjoying Fahrenheit 451. Talk to you guys soon.